Hey ladies, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm so happy you found your way in. Get comfy, pour yourself a glass of wine or tea, heck, maybe even both, depending on how your week's been. Now listen, today's topic is juicy, fun, flirty, and might just give you a new perspective on your power as a woman. Here's the thing. When most people think of sexy, they picture tight dresses, red lips, and posing like you're in a perfume commercial. But that's not what we're talking about today. Real sexiness, the kind that genuinely turns guys on, is all in the subtleties. It's the little things, the moments when you're not even trying, and somehow that makes it 1,000 times more powerful. So today, I'm sharing 7 sexy things women do that turn guys on. And no, these aren't tricks or manipulations. They're natural, genuine behaviors that make a guy stop and think, okay, she's different and I need to know more. Whether you're dating, in a relationship, or just want to understand the superpowers you already have, you're gonna love this. And trust me, some of these might even make you go, wait, that's sexy to guys? Yeah, it is. So let's dive in. Here are 7 sexy things women do that completely turn men on without even realizing it. You want to know what really sets a woman apart in a world where everyone's trying to be the loudest voice in the room? It's her ability to be comfortable in silence. I'm not talking about that awkward staring at your phone silence. We've all been there. I'm talking about the kind of silence that's filled with presence, not panic. It's the kind where she doesn't feel the need to fill every gap with nervous chatter, jokes, or random thoughts just to keep the energy up. Instead, she's calm, collected, still, and that stillness, it speaks volumes. There's something magnetic about a woman who isn't rushing to prove herself. When a guy says something, and instead of jumping in with a response, she just smiles, holds eye contact, maybe takes a sip of her drink and waits. That moment of confident silence, it makes him wonder. It creates tension in the best way because it says, I'm not here to audition for your attention. I already have it. You see, most people talk to impress, but someone who's truly confident listens to connect. She's not afraid of a pause. In fact, she uses it. It gives her space to observe, to really see who she's talking to. And for a guy, that kind of composed energy is incredibly attractive. It's not that she's disinterested, it's that she's centered. Her energy doesn't scream, pick me. It whispers, I know my value. Let's see if you match it. And here's the twist. That confident silence doesn't make her seem distant. It makes her feel powerful, like she's the one with the pen in her hand, writing the scene while he's still trying to figure out what page he's on. That's not just sexy, it's unforgettable. Because real attraction isn't born from how much you say, it's born from how much meaning you bring when you do speak. And when you give a man that pause, that beat, where he's leaning in, wondering what you'll say next, you're no longer just part of the conversation. You've become the moment. There's this aha moment, blink and you'll miss it, but to a guy, it's electric. It's the casual hair flip. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, seriously, that's what gets him going? Just stick with me for a second. I'm not talking about the dramatic, slow-motion shampoo, commodissimo hair flip that screams, I practiced this in the mirror 17 times. No, I'm talking about the totally unconscious, natural one, the kind you do when you're not even thinking about it. Maybe you're mid-conversation, laughing at something you just said, and absent-mindedly sweep your hair behind your ear. Or you're focused on something, checking your phone, and you do that quick toss, just to get your hair out of your face. That right there, that's the gold. Because it's not performative. It's not calculated. It's instinctive. And that's why it's so sexy. Guys notice it because it feels raw, effortless. like you're completely in your element, just being you. And in a world where so many people are trying to appear perfect, polished, curated, that moment of unfiltered femininity hits different. It's not about the hair, it's about the energy behind the gesture. It signals confidence without trying too hard. It says, I'm comfortable in my own skin. And that's magnetic. Sometimes that flip isn't even about him, it's for you. You're adjusting, you're resetting, you're just feeling yourself for a second. And guess what? That makes it even more powerful. Because what's more attractive than someone who isn't trying to impress anyone but ends up doing it anyway? Just by being natural. That tiny flick, that tuck behind the ear, that effortless movement, it has this softness, this femininity that draws people in without saying a single word. And guys notice more than they admit. They won't say, oh wow, the way she flipped her hair was stunning. But trust me, they feel it. It stays in their memory like a loop. They keep replaying it without fully understanding why. So no, you don't need to master the hair flip. You just need to keep being you. Because the moments when you're not trying, that's when you're at your most irresistible. Let's talk about something wildly underrated. Your voice. Now don't worry, I'm not about to tell you to sound like a breathy movie star or whisper like you're narrating a meditation. That's not it. I'm talking about tone. Specifically that soft, playful, low-toned voice women use when they're in the moment. It's not fake. It's not forced. It's natural, but intentional. And guys, they go absolutely weak for it. Picture this, you're in conversation, maybe there's a little flirtation going back and forth, and instead of matching his volume or being overly animated, you drop your voice just slightly. Not in a way that feels sultry or theatrical, just enough to make him lean in to hear you. That's the move. You're not shouting to be heard, you're drawing him closer. There's something undeniably intimate about a woman who knows how to play with her tone. When you lower your voice, even just a little, it creates a kind of private bubble between you and him, like you're sharing a secret. Like the rest of the world doesn't need to hear what you're saying, only he does. And that kind of intimacy, it sparks connection faster than you think. You're not trying to seduce him with your words, you're seducing him with your energy. And your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have. It's like music. Some women speak with this rhythm, this calm, grounded tone that makes a man slow down and tune in. He's not just hearing what you say, he's feeling it. And let's be honest, there's something incredibly sexy about a woman who doesn't feel the need to perform. He's not bouncing, she doesn't need to act outlandish to grab attention. She's simply composed, a bit playful, maybe with a touch of mischief in how she speaks. And that voice, just the subtle change in tone, sticks with him long after the conversation is over. The secret isn't in what you say, it's in how you say it. Confidence doesn't always need to be loud. In fact, some of the most magnetic women enter a room and speak with a voice so soft it commands attention. Because when you speak in a way that invites him to come closer, you make him want to stay. Let's be honest for a moment, most men don't walk around getting compliments all day. In fact, the average guy might be able to count on one hand how many sincere compliments he's received over the last year. And half of those were probably from his mum. This is why when a woman gives a compliment, especially one that's unexpected, it leaves an impression. It doesn't just land, it lingers. And the best part is that it doesn't have to be some deep emotional line or dramatic confession. Sometimes the most alluring compliment is the one that takes him by surprise. Why? Because most guys expect the usual things. You look great in that shirt. Or you have amazing eyes. While these are kind, they're also pretty standard. But when you say something like, there's something about how your mind works, it's really attractive. Or You have this calming energy that makes people feel at ease around you. That grabs his attention. Why? Because it shows you're truly paying attention. You're not just looking at him, you're actually seeing him. And that kind of recognition is rare, it's magnetic. Men, just like women, want to feel appreciated. They want to feel like they bring more to the table than just their height, muscles, or the car they drive. When you compliment something beyond the surface level, his thoughtfulness, sense of humor, the way he listens, or his leadership qualities, that sticks with him. It makes him feel valued, not just physically attractive. And here's the twist. Feeling valued is one of the most seductive feelings there is. And let's not forget the tone here. It's not about giving a compliment like you're handing out a business card. It's about dropping it casually, with sincerity, and maybe a little playfulness. Wow, that was actually pretty insightful. Who knew you had layers? Delivered with a wink or a smile. Game over. Because the truth is, it's not just about what you say, it's about how thoughtfully unexpected it is. A compliment that feels real, out of the blue, and genuinely earned, that's the kind of thing a man remembers. That's when he starts seeing you differently, not just as someone who caught his eye, but as someone who got inside his head and stayed there. Let me set the scene for you. You're sitting across from a woman at dinner, or perhaps beside her in a coffee shop. She's telling a story. Nothing dramatic, just a casual conversation. But as she talks, you notice the way her fingers gently trace the rim of her glass. The way her hand absent-mindedly moves across the table, or tucks her hair behind her ear slowly, like it's part of the rhythm of her speech. You see, when a woman laughs freely without holding back, it sends a message. It says, I'm not here to impress you, I'm here to enjoy myself. And let me tell you, nothing turns a man on more than a woman who owns her joy. Because when you're around someone genuinely having fun, it's impossible not to be pulled into their energy. It's contagious. Here's the secret bonus. Laughter lowers people's defenses. It breaks the tension. So when a woman laughs fully, unapologetically, it makes him feel safer being himself too. He starts to relax. He starts laughing harder. Suddenly it's no longer just a conversation, it's a connection. And it all started because you weren't afraid to be fully, unapologetically yourself. Let's also not act like a beautiful laugh isn't memorable. A guy might forget what you were wearing. He might forget what you said, but if you laughed in a way that made him laugh too, that's gonna stay with him. That's the sound he'll hear when he's lying in bed, scrolling through his thoughts, wondering why he can't stop thinking about you. So don't stifle your laugh. Don't tame it. Don't cover your mouth like you need to make your joy quieter. Let it out. Let it echo. Let it be as bold and beautiful as you are. Because when you laugh with your whole being, you're not just sexy, you're unforgettable. There's eye contact, and then there's eye contact that lingers. I'm not talking about the kind that's too intense or makes someone feel like they're being interrogated. I mean that subtle pause, that extra second, just one beat longer than normal, where she holds his gaze. And in that tiny moment, everything changes. That moment doesn't just say, I see you. It says, I see you. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm not afraid to let you feel it. And that drives a man wild. Why? Because prolonged eye contact is vulnerable. It's powerful. It communicates far more than words ever could. When a woman holds a man's gaze, especially with that playful spark, that little smirk tugging at the corner of her mouth, it creates an immediate tension, like something's being said, without anything actually being said. Most people look away too quickly. It's automatic. We get shy, nervous, or don't want to appear too eager. But that tiny second where she doesn't look away, that's where the magic happens. Because that's when he starts wondering, is she flirting with me? Was that just in my head? What's going on here? Suddenly, you're the mystery. You're the intrigue. And just like that, he's pulled in deeper. Here's the beauty of it. It's not about being seductive in an obvious way. It's about being intentional. A confident woman knows the power of her gaze. She doesn't use it carelessly. But when she chooses to hold it just slightly longer than expected, it creates a spark that lingers in the air like electricity. She's not loud. She's not trying to be the center of attention, but the way she carries herself, the way she moves with purpose, grace, and that quiet, confident smile that says, I know who I am, that's the moment every head subtly turns. So the next time you walk into a restaurant, a meeting, or even your own living room, remind yourself, you don't have to shrink to fit in. Let them feel your presence. Let your energy speak before you say a word. Because a woman who walks with confidence doesn't chase attention, she attracts it effortlessly. It's about being completely, unapologetically yourself, fully in your feminine energy. The woman who knows who she is, owns her space, and doesn't need to chase attention, because attention naturally finds her. That woman, she doesn't just turn men on, she pulls them in. Mind, body, and soul. And here's the wild part. None of these things require you to change a single thing about who you are. You don't need to rehearse. You don't need to study how to flirt. And you certainly don't need to fake a persona. All you have to do is stop hiding the magic that's already inside you. Because when you embrace your natural power, even in the most subtle, everyday moments,